Welcome back to the WJBF Football Friday Night and Carolina Panthers All-CSRA Award Show. Before the break, we introduced the offensive team. If you joined us late, you can see that on our website later tonight. Now it's time to meet the All-CSRA defensive team.
Myles Simon, defensive line, Burke County High School.
Thompson from the Burke County 34-yard line. Right, down he goes. Simon got him. Simon on the sack.
Myles Simon was a game changer on the defensive line for Burke County. He finished his senior season with 76 tackles, 27 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks.
There's been times during this year that he's been very, very unblockable for the opponent. And the way we like to play, moving our defensive line, he's made some big plays for us. And he's always a guy that they have to consider when they're talking about their pass protection scheme. So, you know, we've been real excited about what he's been able to do for us defensively.
Simon was named first team All-Region after leading the Bears to their first region title since 2013. Not a bad senior season for a kid who only started playing a few years ago.
Actually, I got into football late. I didn't even really like football until 7th grade, and it was just a way for me to lose weight.
Something else you may not have known about the hard-hitting defensive end?
I enjoy reading and I love animals. I got to say it's Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
C.J. Wright, defensive line, Screven County High School.
I've probably been around, coached, you know, or been on staff with 8 or 9 guys that played in the NFL, and I wouldn't trade any of them for CJ. You know, he's been the heart and soul of this football team since the moment he stepped on campus. To watch him dominate on Friday night, you know, every single week was unbelievable.
Big Caesar C.J. Wright was a force to be reckoned with for Screven County. He finished his senior season with more than 650 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns on offense, and 13.5 tackles for loss and 2 forced fumbles on defense. And he has a celebration for every occasion.
When I score a touchdown, I squat down a little bit, and then when I make a tackle, big tackle, I go and I point to the sky, and I just boom, sign it off like that. And that was just my little thing. Or I just hit my chest, bang on it, get crazy out there.
He also has a routine to get pumped for games.
Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low. I love that song. I listen to that every Friday. Love that song.
That's a game day song? Or?
That's a game day song for me. I mean, I come out and I get right on that edge and just sing that song to myself. I be rocking back and forth, just going and sing that song.
That's awesome.
Traymor, defensive line, Strom Thurmond High School.
And their quarterback is in a shotgun. Tanner White looking to throw, and here comes Moore. Oh, my goodness.
He can change the game, snap of a finger. Just real explosive. He just got a knack for getting to the quarterback. And just gets after it every play.
Traymor is relentless. The all-region defensive end finished his senior season at Strom Thurmond with 60 tackles, 8 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. The future Division I athlete was trouble waiting to happen for opposing teams. But he didn't always love football. His mom had to force him to stick with it when he was younger.
I really don't even know. I used to fake asthma attacks, all that. I didn't want to be out there really. I thank God every day for that. It's a blessing to be able to do this.
The Georgia State signee is all business on the field, but off it, he keeps the laughs rolling.
I'm a clown, man. That's all I do. I get joy from seeing other people laugh, and it just makes my day to make somebody else's day.
And about those sack celebrations, he's got quite the repertoire.
Had the ice in my veins, champion belt, muscle up, and just none of that.
Anthony Larkins, defensive line, Thompson High School.
He's a throwback to the way high school football used to be. Whatever tackles our linebackers had, and our two top tacklers were our linebackers, he was a result of that. Very unselfish player.
Just having fun, man. Just like the contact, feeling, just love football.
You could say Anthony Larkins was the unsung hero of the Thompson Bulldogs. Coach Wright calls him a double-team eating machine.
To me, that's what makes your teams, is to have kids like that. It's very gratifying because those type of kids, offensive, defensive linemen, they don't get noticed a lot unless something bad happens.
But Larkins almost didn't get an opportunity to play his senior season.
Not many people know this. He injured his knee in our spring scrimmage against Beach.
Spring ACL, like that. They said I almost tear it. If I would tear, I probably say I would have just sat the whole season, so I'm glad it just sprang.
Good thing for Larkins, but not his opponents, especially those who doubted him.
But when people see us because we're short, they're like, oh, well, we're finna kill these boys. Oh, nah. We come to play. We come to play football.
Keshawn Robinson, linebacker, Screven County High School.
Keshawn had a once-in-a-lifetime type season this year. The things that he did each week were unbelievable.
Keshawn Robinson was a beast on Friday nights this fall. He led Screven County with 132 tackles and 16.5 tackles for loss. He also forced 3 fumbles and made some unbelievable plays on offense.
Keshawn Robinson, deep, off
Like I can say, you just gotta work hard, and it means a lot. Cause all this work I put in training, I just accomplished a couple of things.
He accomplished a lot, but that single game tackle record he had his sights set on, well, that's for Coach to explain.
He probably got it like the first week, but it really, Keshawn, the truth be told, we really don't know what the single game tackle record was, and I'm sorry, but that was kind of something coaches just kind of made up over there to try to motivate you, and it worked extremely well.
Greg Rogers, linebacker, Grovetown High School.
He's very, very intense on the field. Now, he's a little quiet guy when you see him walking down the halls, but on the field, he turns it up into another notch. He plays with the intensity of a linebacker. He just loves to hit people.
Greg Rogers doesn't mess around. He led the entire CSRA with 146 tackles this season.
It's really just effort, really. Just effort to run to the ball.
Rogers' effort doesn't stop on the field either. This guy is a Twitter savant. Believe me, I get notifications from him about every other day.
I mean, I started Twitter back in like 7th, 6th grade. I love it. Like, I just post everything I do.
I mean, every time I go on Twitter, I see something posted by him. So.
I feel like if you have like a strong Twitter, you have a strong recruiting process too.
It certainly helped him establish relationships with college coaches, but he didn't need to get much closer with Coach Postel. They live right next to each other.
Yeah, we're right across the street from each other, so we see each other. I mean, I've seen him walk his dog, he's seen me walk mine. I mean, it's that type of, as a neighbor, he sees me, I see him. He hasn't cut my yard yet, I'm waiting for that to happen. But we enjoy him, I enjoy him as a neighbor.
Jasper Lot, linebacker, Williston-Elko High School.
He's the best story I've really ever been around.
Frightened me because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to be able to play football again.
After being named Region Player of the Year as a junior, Williston-Elko star Jasper Lot's senior season didn't begin the way he had hoped. Lot suffered from blebs, which caused his lungs to collapse several times before he had to have surgery to have them removed. But the two-time All-CSRA linebacker was back on the field just 2 weeks after surgery.
I'm kind of hard-headed, but I like to play football, and I didn't want to give it up that easy. I did push-ups, I run a little bit, try to get my lungs work back up, and then I felt like I was ready to come back and start playing again.
I was more happy for him for him to have the opportunity to continue to play. I wasn't so much worried about his production. I didn't know whether it was gonna take a dive or whether he'd be the same player that he was, and he really didn't miss a beat.
Despite missing 2 games, Lot led the Blue Devils in tackles and sacks, but it's who he is beyond football that impresses his coach the most.
He's going to be a difference maker, in his life. He's going to help people, and he's going to be a servant. And I think that's the thing that I'm most excited to see.
Deepti Stephens, defensive back, Richmond Academy.
I guess if I had to just one word, I'd say dangerous. When we threw it to him, there's a good chance he was going to catch it, and when you threw it in his area, there's a good chance he was going to catch it then as well.
I got good ball skills. I think it comes from basketball, passing, catching, shooting, feet ready.
Just plays the ball real well. When it goes up in the air, it's hard for a lot of kids to judge it when it's going to come down and where, and he has a real good knack for knowing that.
No question he can make those plays on both sides of the ball, but Deepti Stephens makes the All-CSRA team as a defensive back after picking off 7 passes this season.
First scrimmage against Lakeside, he had 3 interceptions, and those don't count in his stats, but he was playing, from hash to sideline about as good as I've seen.
Stephens will tell you, he doesn't just play well, but he looks the part too.
I got a lot of swag on the field, and while I'm playing, I got a lot of swag.
Yeah, it's a little much for me, but if he didn't play so good, I probably would have been more upset about it.
Yeah, off the football field too. I got pretty much swag in everything that I do.
I don't know. He likes them skinny jeans, I ain't real sure about folks that wear them, but he sure likes them.
Ja'Cory Crawford, defensive back, Thompson High School.
How would you describe yourself as a football player?
Fast, physical, and smart. Very tenacious, very get after it. He wanted to be good. He worked hard to be good.
And good would be an understatement to describe Thompson's secondary the past 4 years.
Awesome player, a lot like Tutt. Both of them been starting for us as freshmen.
Coach Wrighting's referring to Keshawn Tutt, who's also going to be playing D1 football this fall. Not surprising to hear the commonalities. These two have been playing with each other since they were 6 years old.
We've been playing together since we were knee-high to a grasshopper, so it's kind of like we have a mental telepathy all the way across. So if one person is slacking off, the other person just seems to be there to, pick up the slack.
Don't think there was much slack to be picked up between the two. Crawford, a Georgia State commit, had 5 interceptions this season, but his favorite play at Thompson came during his junior season.
I didn't really do much but catch the ball and run down the sideline, but it was my first one in the brickyard.
A fitting play, since he says his favorite part of playing football is deceiving his opponent.
Fooling people. It's like rolling in and out of coverage, like showing one thing but playing another to bait the quarterback into throwing you the ball, stuff like that.
Devon Bell, defensive back, North Augusta High School.
He's very versatile. Devon's very athletic. With football in his hands, he's probably as electric as anybody in the CSRA, without a doubt.
And he's got the football in his hands a lot. Bell made the All-CSRA team on the offensive side last year, putting up big numbers as a wide receiver and return man. This year he's on as a defensive back, again for how much he came up with the football.
He had 2 or 3 games, multiple interceptions. I know in the big region matchup with South Aiken, he had 3. Took one back for a touchdown and got called back, and he did some great things for us this year as a senior.
Just the dog mentality that our coach been installing in us since the beginning of the season. Working in the weight room, on the field, just putting everything on the field is your last chance.
In all, Bell picked off 9 passes this season, but which does he prefer between the two, an interception or scoring a touchdown?
I would say catching touchdowns. I think I like catching touchdowns better.
Better yet, how about an interception for a touchdown? Bell had a pick 6 late in Border Bowl 5 to help lift Team South Carolina over Team Georgia.
That was pretty amazing. The team was hyped. I was hyped. The coaches were hyped. even the coaches from other school, they was hyped. So that was a really fun game. I enjoyed every minute of playing football this year.
Damari Kelly, defensive back, Burke County High School.
My favorite part of the season is playing both sides of the ball, being able to hit my team in every way I can.
From the 2, Kelly, keeper, Kelly, touchdown, Burke County.
Damari Kelly did just about everything for Burke County this season. The 4A Region 3 Player of the Year accounted for 15 touchdowns on offense, while on defense, he was a shutdown corner with 20 pass breakups and an interception returned for a touchdown.
On offense, we can snap it to him, we can throw it to him, we can hand off to him, pitch it to him. However we need to get the ball to him, we can do that. And I can tell you from a defensive standpoint, that's always tough, where you want to run a game plan, but you've always got to understand where that guy is, and I think he's that guy. So, that's been great. And then defensively, it's been nice to put him on one side of the field, and people really just haven't thrown the ball over there much.
The Coastal Carolina signee is a playmaker on and off the field, and his drive for success comes from his family.
My family motivates me a lot because they're always on top of me about my grades and being the best that I could be on the field and off, so my family.
Parker Baxley, punter, North Augusta High School.
First got into punting. Me and my dad used to come out here, and some of the coaches saw us one time and asked me to come try out.
We knew that the kicker was a senior. We didn't really have anybody in the program at the time that was kicking. Parker and his dad had to be down, and he approached me one day. He said, "Coach, I want to try out for kicker." I said, "That's great."
Baxley kicking.
Yeah, sometimes things fall into place and a good plan comes together.
Worked out pretty well, especially this past season. Baxley was North Augusta's punter and kicker, averaging 38 yards per punt this season.
Last year I enjoyed kicking, but this year I like kickoffs and punts more because I went in training over the summer and got a lot better in those two aspects.
So where does the kicking ability come from? Like many others, it began with soccer.
I love soccer. That's my favorite sport ever since I was little until I started playing football. I love them both. I couldn't pick between one.
I knew he was a good soccer player, but he put in the time to come out here and be a part of our program, and I think he enjoyed it. I really believe that, and we enjoyed having him.
I love playing football. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Loved it. Wish I could play again. It's an awesome experience.
Christian Tutt, all-purpose, Thompson High School.
The 4 years have flown by.
These past 4 years have been nothing but, been a blessing to me.
I think he's won or received about every award that you could possibly receive. It's probably a first in my coaching career that I've had a ninth grader that was actually offered a scholarship.
I'm just trying to just put on for Thompson.
And boy, did Christian Tutt represent well, a 4-year starter and 3-time All-CSRA player who practically played every position for the Bulldogs.
It meant a lot to me to play offensive shifts on quarterback, running back, receiver. I played some tight end too.
It's fitting our all-purpose player did a little bit of everything during his favorite high school memory, the 2016 region-clinching win over Burke County.
I made a third down stop, broke up the pass, returned the punt, and I got the pick, to win the game. So it was just, that's my best memory right there.
There have been lots of plays. I can think of the kickoff return against Burke County.
And now he's playing D1 football at Auburn and plans to compete for a starting spot as a defensive back. But Tutt has even bigger long-term goals.
I'm ready to try to, put in this work for 3-4 years, try to get to the league, and try to win the Natty. I'm shooting for higher than all my uncles ever did. So, Jab, Cal, Danny, all that, I'm shooting for higher than that.
And now here is your WJBF Football Friday Night Carolina Panthers All-CSRA defensive team. We will be right back with the awards for Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, and our overall Player of the Year. Don't go away, the show continues after this break.